Hello, everybody. Spider here once again. Coming soon podcast coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Being joined by Alex Havens. How are you
Hello,
doing
everybody.
today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on, Spider. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to talking
Um,
with you.
man, I'm excited, man. I signed a ADP, right? I mean non-disclosure. I was able to read the script, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I read the script like a movie. Like it was detailed. It read so well. And
Thank you.
in my head, I was just like, dude, I've seen this movie. Like it was that
Yeah.
good, man. So, but you see, I did all this before I jumped and started looking at as far as what you guys were doing because I was curious. I was like, man, I wonder how I'm gonna see people, how I'm gonna see the actors, how I'm gonna, when I went and actually, started looking at the photos of those involved, um, it kind of made sense. I said, man, I think you guys nailed it when it came to the, bringing people on for the roles.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have to say, we got freaking lucky with casting and we did it all in house too. So we spent a lot of hours. I think it was almost 2 months we spent casting in total. And for a little bit there, it kind of felt like oh no, are we not gonna get what we're looking for? Like, are we not? And then it felt like right at the end, everybody just came in back to back to back and just nailed it. And the performances, the auditions, the callbacks, the screen tests, these individuals, these actors have really like embodied these characters. It's almost like I like wrote these roles just waiting for these actors to step
I
into.
I was gonna say, was anybody that was written because of the role?
Actually, the only person that I had while I was writing her, I had somebody in mind was Nerys, the character you see at the very beginning, Mason's best friend, and you don't see her again. I had Leah Colin in my head. She was on NBC's The Voice with Team Snoop. She's a good friend of mine, and I just thought of her bubbly, energetic, just lighthearted spirit the whole time I was writing. And as soon as I was done, I was like, "Would you want to do this?" And she was like, "I've never acted on screen before, but
Wow.
for you, I will." Like, absolutely. So that, like, she was literally the only person that I kind of had in mind as I was writing, but everybody else I just found by casting a net and reeling it
Yeah.
in. So
Well, you see, and who was out there scouting? Was it you?
it was me.
Oh wow,
It
dude, you
was
did, you
me.
did a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have a wonderful team of producers with me, Chris and Katie Tawney, and Susan Alvis. But we're all working our full time lives while also, bringing the dream together. So I've been doing a lot of the legwork here, and it's actually been really enlightening just in terms of, I mean, this is my first time going out and directing a feature length film. It's my screenwriting debut, so I think if anything this is probably the way to do it. Just
Man,
get hands
congratulations,
in.
congratulations, man. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, was there a lot of pressure doing this? Let me ask you that.
Yes, there was. I mean, I feel like there is a lot of pressure to this day. But I think I work very well under pressure. It's kind of always been my thing. I thrived in retail for so long before I got to where I am now. So pressure
Oh
is my
man.
middle name.
So all
So
those years of torture was built up for this, right? That's
yes,
cool, man.
exactly, exactly. So I think, I mean, compared to everything I've been through, this, while there is a lot of pressure behind it, I think there's it's a different kind of pressure, and a pressure that's kind of more welcome than anything.
No, yes, yes. And I mean, I can only imagine, man, because of course, earlier, man, I mean, we talked a little bit before we went on, but when it comes to movies, I mean, yourself, I mean, you actually came from acting, so were you already like thinking that far ahead, thinking like, man, I'm gonna see where this goes, and then just jump up, like,
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think from since I was little, performing was my thing. I was, musical theater, show choir, all that kind of stuff. And then once I kind of really got into musical theater, I really enjoyed the narrative of everything. And I was like, oh, how cool would it be if I had one of my own stories playing out up here one day? And then as I grew older, I just kind of I fell more in love with film than anything. So it just kind of, I made my feature debut acting in 2019, 2020. And then I worked really closely with the director on that project, and she just kind of sparked all the creative fire beneath me. Her name's Anne Cameron Troy, Anne Hammock, I think she goes by now. She made an incredible film called Here's My Voice that should probably be out any time now. But she was really a huge mentor for me throughout the whole thing. And it even to the point where I gave her the final draft of House of Flies and she read it and she came back to me and she was like, I don't get it. And I was
Oh,
like, what? And she was like, I don't get it. And then for a while, she was like, I don't know if you need to do this differently, and I sat with it and I was like, no, I don't think I do. And then I kind of took it out to different audiences. That's kind of what inspired me to start submitting to film festivals. Is I was like, I have to like, is are you not getting it? Am I not getting it? Am I just thinking like I just wrote something so cool and it's actually just like gibberish? But after a while, I started getting official selections and wins and nominations, and I kind of went back to when we were talking, and she admitted to me, she's like, I'm kind of glad that you didn't take any of my advice. She goes, because if I'm honest, I didn't really know the horror genre like that. You know, she's like, that's not my wheelhouse. So she goes, I might have been giving advice where it was unprecedented and that could have changed everything. So I had a lot of inspiration, a lot of fire behind this. And I think it was just kind of a natural progression from my performing career into like, I'm doing it for me now. You know, like I want to be the one writing the roles, getting people employed, that kind of thing.
no, no, for sure. You see, and that's one of the things because when you said earlier that she didn't get it, I was wondering if she was doing that just to kind of push you out there, like give you a little bit more.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And she's always been like that. She told me from the beginning. She was like, "I'm not gonna be your yes man. You know, like if I
Oh,
don't like
sweet.
it,
I
if
like
it's
that.
not working, like
Yeah.
you're gonna hear it from me." And I think really like her negative response to like reading House of Flies, I was like, that's not right, you know, like that doesn't feel right. And I, like you said, I feel like it kind of actually might have been intentional, you know, just she wanted to, okay, let's get a reaction out of you and let's see how you handle it, you know. And I think rejection, especially in this industry, is such a, you have to learn how to handle it. You have to learn how to take it. You have to learn how to, you know, absorb that negative feedback, but not let it completely derail you from what you're trying to accomplish.
Definitely.
And I think like taking that kind of feedback, that rejection, quote unquote, and just forming it into something else and be like, okay, well let me show you why you're wrong. You know, like let me show you why you're wrong. And so that's kind of what I did.
Well, I mean, that's great that you did take it for what it was because I mean, it's a constructive criticism or just a boost to kind of rough you up a little bit and be like, man,
Exactly.
make you think. Let me ask you this. So I'm kind of curious now. When you were looking at directing, was she the one that you said that she was the one you went to?
So yeah, I did go to her, and I actually almost wanted her to do it at first. And then like once I got that feedback from her, I was like, wait. I was like, nope. I was like, okay. And that was another thing that was kind of made me be like, well, I'm just gonna do it myself then. You know, like if nobody's getting it, if you know, like if you can't get it, then I can't really have you working on it because I get it and other people are getting it. So, but I mean, and at the end of the day, it worked out the way it was supposed to. She's been a wonderful support, just consulting wise, without actually having to be in the production. So I think it's just nice to have that kind of a network, a support system, um, of people who are creatively like minded but not necessarily involved.
Right. No, no, no. And I was gonna say too. I was wondering like if because there's been things in life like every time I want to do something and like say a mentor like somebody's like working on the project and I'm like I kind of follow along and I'm curious but I don't ask and
Yeah.
they kind of don't tell me either and then I always felt like but then there's times when I'm like hey I want to do this too and they're like dude man I've been waiting for you to say that like I don't want to be they
Yep.
don't want to be the one to tell me like hey you should try this
Right.
so
Yep.
they kind of wanted me
Exactly.
to like step up and be like, "Hey, I want to do this now," and they're like, "Bro, like perfect. Like, man, I've been waiting. Like, I don't want to be the one to tell you to do this, and you didn't want to do it." So I was just like, "Wow." So I mean, that's kind of like what I got from this. Like if you were like, "Hey, I want to
Yeah.
be a director," and she's like, "Ah, do something else." And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, I'm gonna be a director, man.
That's what I'm doing. And for a while, because not like the more that we're sitting here talking about it, the more I'm realizing like she really was just trying to push me out onto my own and my own individual creative person. Because when I went to her and she gave me these wonderful roles, I was like, I want to star in whatever you got next, And she's like, I will have you star in anything that I write. And she was like, but if you want to make money in this industry, you need to do something else. Like, you can't just be an actor. She goes, because you have to be incredibly lucky for that. And she was like, and not that you're not very talented and you can do it, but there are a lot of people who have other advantages that we don't. She's like, so if you want to actually make a name for yourself and make a career in this industry, you need to do something of your own. She goes, and by that, she goes, you need to write something of your own. You need to direct something of your own. So, and that was very early on, like in the process. And just as we're sitting here talking about it, everything was just kind of like coming back up as a distant memory. And I was like, wow, she really was just pushing me in the direction, She's like, just go do it. Like, you don't need me. Go do it yourself. And here we are.
No, no, I mean, no kidding. Because I mean, even now, like I myself, I mean, I jump on projects. I mean, I'm here. I mean, locally, I've jumped on quite a few, and I've been fortunate to be able to ask. I was in Indiana like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it was fun. Like I was like, man, I was like my first out of state gig, so I was like, all right, cool, man. Like, but I know I myself know too, man. Like I got to be honest, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not the great the greatest out there. I'm not, I'm good. I'm okay. I mean,
Right.
when it comes to characters, I'm like, okay, I know what I can do, but yeah, the industry is so huge, man. It's like, I mean, a lot of it is talent, but a lot of it is also like who you know.
Yep, it is.
You
It's a
know?
name game. It is a
Yeah.
name game. They are
So
not playing about that.
so it's kind of cool to see you actually, it kind of reminds me of this. Like if somebody's like, if you can't find a job, then just create one.
Right. Yep.
And it kind of reminds me of that, because it's like, okay, you know what, the fact that she did tell you, like, you know what, you gotta write, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and it just makes sense, man, because it's like, I mean, I wish I could, I'm here at home, and I wish people would be calling me like, hey, I need you for this, I need you for that,
Right. Right.
but it doesn't happen. And it's like I'm on social media and like everybody else is filming, and I'm like, man, what the hell.
Right. Why
I'm
am I
like,
not
I
there?
want to I want to do something, but it's
Right.
but it is what it is, man. And I'm fortunate, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that you're doing
100%.
it, I'm gonna reach out to you for a gig, bro. So make it
Hey,
happen,
hey,
brother.
hit me up. Hit me up. I got you. This next one is going to be a big old cast, so I got something for you, I'm
Oh,
sure.
sweet, sweet, yes, bro. Even if I'm the first to die, I'll take it, man.
Hey, everybody.
I'll be
Hey,
happy
who
with that.
doesn't want a good kill scene?
Oh
Who
yeah,
doesn't want a good kill scene?
oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. Growing up, I mean, what kind of films were you like watching? I mean, what was it that kind of like you were like, man, how did they make these? Or was there a specific movie that kind of caught your attention?
I think what's really funny. For the longest time, specifically, I did not mess with horror whatsoever. I could like the thought of it just terrified me. Gore, like that, just like I could not stand the thought of it. But my mom would always taunt me. Okay, so this is a weird story, but my mom, she grew up on When a Stranger Calls, that old,
Yeah.
have you checked the children, like that. So my parents, they loved to go out, and I was the oldest, so I would stay home and I would watch my sisters. And so before when my parents are coming home for the night, my mom would love to call the house private. And I would
Oh
answer,
man.
and she would do the "Have you checked the children?" And that freaked me out for
What?
so long, And I finally caught on that it was my mother doing it, and she showed me the movie, which weirdly enough, the remake, I think that came out in like 2007
Yeah.
or like was coming out at that same exact time. So like we had watched that, and then the trailer for the remake came on, and I was like, I need to see this. I need to see this. So my friend, a good friend of mine, we went to the movies when it came out, and I remember seeing that big, huge glass window house with just like the atrium, and I was just like, how cool would it be to just run around making a movie in that house?
Oh
Like
yeah.
that, like, like there's so many places to hide. It's such a maze. And I think it was really like location and like production design and set design that was really like, oh my god, that would be so cool to just play in, like just get like make up a story and just like execute it throughout that whole entire house.
Oh yeah.
So in a way, my mother and When a Stranger Calls are really what kind of like set me in motion towards wanting to make not only films but like horror films.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what
Yeah,
kind of
well,
led me
you
down that.
know, I mean, I'm sorry she traumatized you, but you know, I'm an '80s kid, so yeah, you know, I'm the same way. It's like, you know, I have two daughters, and you know, growing up, I mean, they grew up on horror films. You know,
Yeah.
my youngest, when Dora the Explorer was coming out and it was getting big, like, you know, I picked her up. My oldest stayed with her mom. I came home and I'm like, hey, what do you want to watch? And she's like, oh, let's watch Chucky. And I'm like looking at her and I'm like, damn, man, I failed. I failed real
Right.
life, you know. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it was just like one of those things where I was like, damn. So I'm like, well, let's watch this one first, you know, and then
Right,
we
right.
can. But I was
Let's
just
ease
like,
into it,
yeah,
like.
yeah. But but yeah, man, I think it would have been if she wouldn't have told you. I'm not gonna say it would have been fun because of course, you know, you were you went through that, but
Hey, hey, it
it
builds character. It builds
yeah, what do you
character,
think? But I would have. I was gonna say like I would have loved for her to be like, hey, sit down and watch this movie with me, and you would have heard that and been like, what the heck, like,
Right, right. Kind
yeah,
of
that
like
would
gave
have
me,
been.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just one
no, for sure. My parents were just, they always ask like, how did you, like, I don't understand how you love all this scary stuff. Like, I don't understand how you like that because my parents are not like scary movie fans really like that. They watched them a little bit growing up, but they
yeah,
weren't ever scary movie fans like that. But then I'm sitting here like, you guys don't know, but you spent half of my childhood scaring the shit out of me. So like I had to learn to enjoy it.
no.
So
Man,
they
let me ask
instilled
you,
it in me.
because one of the things I always tell people is that, you know, I speak three languages. I said I speak English, I speak Spanish, and I speak movie quotes.
Yep.
Because even in the household, like my girl, like I'll be movie quotes like crazy. I'll say something like that. You know, so they're gonna get you, Barbara. Like I was saying that forever. And
Yep.
like one day we sat down and we were watching the movie, and she was just like, "Is that where you get that from?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like you didn't know." She's
You
like, "I
did.
had no idea what the heck you were talking about." She was all like, "I was like, who the heck is Barbara?" Like,
Right.
you know, and so it was like one of those things where I was like, "Man, like I just figured everybody grew up like me, you
Just
know, watching
knew
all
it.
these movies."
Yeah, just I'm the same exact way. I'm just like half of my brain is pop culture facts and quotes. So
Yes.
I
Oh
just
yeah.
I'm saying a bunch of things, and I always feel bad when people think I'm like being like originally funny, And I'm like, no, that was a whole reference.
Yeah, yeah, I took that from somebody that took it from somebody that, you
Right.
know. But that's pretty much how like the sense of humor, man. Like for me, like I can't be like I'm 51, and I can't be like if I'm around 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, like it's like an awkward pause for me because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm like way out of, you know, it's just like I mean that my sense of humor doesn't hit everybody, and it's like
Right.
when they
Yeah. It's
say
not the same.
something and they
Yeah.
don't get it, I'm like, oh, okay, they're not that.
Right.
You know,
Oh, it's fallen flat. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, okay, I need a better audience, man. Where are my people at?
Right. Oh, I guess I needed to read the room. Got it. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. You see, I'm gonna quick story. My youngest one day I picked her up from school. She was like 6 years old, and she's like, "Dad," like, and I'm like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And she says, "Well, you know, no, everybody, like my friends, like nobody in class thinks I'm funny." And I'm like, and I said, "Kid," I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're freaking hilarious, man." I was
Right.
like, "No," I said, "You're funny," and she's like, "Well, I said something, and nobody laughed, and I forgot what it was that she said, and it was a movie quote." And I
Okay.
said, and I was like, baby, I said that they don't get your sense of humor. I said, you have your dad's sense of humor. I said, you're like years beyond what
Right. Right.
you know. And I said, that's funny. I said, you're a funny kid, man. And she was like,
Right.
oh, okay, you know, but
You're
it's
too
just
smart
like,
for your own good. They're not
yeah,
gonna get it.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, any better friends? Come on, kid, you know.
Right.
But yeah, you know, and it happens. I mean, you know, I mean, humor is what drives me when it comes to like my favorite genre when it comes to horror is it's a horror comedy.
I was gonna
You
say, since we're talking about humor, how do you feel about it when it comes to horror?
I enjoy it, but then, let me ask you this though, because there's movies and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's some that are like horror comedies, and then there's some that are comedies with horror.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and so there is a difference, and there's like, but I love horror comedy, so I want it to be scary. I want it to be, and then I just every once in a while I want something, some humor in it.
See, and this is kind of I have something off the top of my head to reference in terms of that I've seen a lot of discourse around lately, and that's weapons. And I
Yeah,
feel like I've seen a lot of people who are like, it's a comedy. It was blah blah blah, and I was like, no, it wasn't a comedy. It
yeah,
had funny moments.
yeah,
Like it was
exactly. Yeah,
like that was a horror movie, but
yeah,
it was witty, you know, like it
exactly.
wasn't
Yeah.
looking for punchlines. Like scenes weren't setting up punchlines. That's not how it was. It was
No,
just natural dialogue that came out that was just kind of like, oh, that's funny because that's kind of how an actual person would react, you know?
exactly. You see,
Like,
and I was gonna say it was one of those things where, because I was at the theater, there was quite a few people in there, man. Which was
oh yeah,
surprising because I have
oh yeah.
like a lot of these theaters have been empty lately, but there was a lot of big crowd, and not everybody laughed, but
Mm-hmm.
the ones that did, I'm like, oh, okay, they get it. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
like,
you got it. You're getting the point here. Like,
yes, yes, but yes. I mean, there was humor in it, and I agree. You know, it was a horror film with humor in it because,
right.
but it was good though. I mean, out of,
Oh, it was,
since we're on that subject, out of five, man, what do you rate it?
gosh, I mean, that was based off what I look for in horror. That was a solid 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Yes, I give it a strong four. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely, I was just like, man, that was like perfect. The timing, the editing, everything just went like in sequence, and I was like, damn, that was a good
Oh
movie.
yeah, and it's so easy to lose pacing when
Yeah,
you're dealing with an anthology.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
that kind of setup where you're getting to see everybody's different perspectives, even though we've already kind of gone through this whole timeline already. And it's so easy to just lose interest and kind of drag the pace. But every single segment that they hit the audience with was just an evolution of what we had already seen in like a really like exciting way. I think overall I just really love Zach Kreger. Like I for the longest time I didn't realize that that was Whitest Kids You Know, Zach Kreger, you know. And then like once I kind of started reading into everything and how like Weapons was a big meditation for grief for him, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's Zach Kreger, and I
yeah.
that's just another thing that kind of I feel like comedians really get horror a lot more than even some of like like modern horror aficionados like
Yeah.
Ty West and stuff like that. Which don't get me wrong, I love Ty, but I
Oh,
feel like comedians whenever they tap into the genre, there's like a perspective on it that even people who are fully engulfed in the genre don't entirely see.
no, yeah, for sure, man. And that's one of those things. Let me ask you, because I mean, I didn't mean to get off subject with that, but I mean, going into your film, like I stated earlier, I mean, I read the script, man. I mean, I was stuck on it. Like I said, in my head it played, and I was just like, damn. So I gotta
Good.
ask you, where was this filmed at? Because when you guys described the scenery, the waterfalls, and I'm thinking, okay, like I don't have waterfalls here,
Yeah,
in San Antonio. So I'm like, where was this filmed?
we're filming in Tennessee, right outside, like probably like an hour outside of Nashville. We have Fall Creek Falls out here, which is a state park, which is just riddled with waterfalls. And we have
Sweet.
a wonderful setup here for film productions where we just have to submit and let them know that we're going to be filming, and we can just pop up and film
And I was
whatever we
gonna ask
need on
you,
there.
so
So,
you guys did have permission for that?
oh yeah, yeah, we went by the book. This went from a very like when okay, so this we've really only been working on this for 6 months now. I wrote the script. I started writing the script in November of 2024. I finished it a month later in the middle of December. At the end of December on New Year's Eve, I kind of posted in some film production local Facebook groups, just kind of seeing if like does anybody kind of want to run and gun a feature film? Just like no money, let's just see what we can make of it, you know? And so I actually that's how I met Chris and Katie Tawney and Susan Elvis, and we all just started working on it. We got our cast together. Sky Crystal, who's playing Avery, he introduced us to Cayman Cardiff, who is now taking on the role of Mason. And from there, Cayman is kind of he's kind of an up and coming big name in Hollywood. And so it very much kind of took off the second that we got him on board. And all of a sudden we're union and we're Hollywood industry standard production, with a bunch of people who, don't. This is our real first outing at all of this. Like Chris and Katie, they're really big in the reality TV space, and have worked on a couple of indie films, but nothing to this magnitude where it's like this is ours, like this is everything, this is all us. So it's just kind of insane how it
Man, well,
all.
that's great though, man. I have a photo, and I should have asked you about this, but this is the crew, correct?
So that is Cass. So that's Sky right there in the middle next to me in the pink flannel. This is when I was still going to star as Mason.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then we have Amanda Medlin in the blue top. That's Leah Cullen to the right, in the white top. Gavin Hensley, our creature, in the middle, and then to the left of him is Joseph, Nicholas Hart. So that was our cast before things really blew up, and then I got replaced just because
Yeah,
I could not focus. I was like, there's too much going on. Like, I need to really hone in. If I'm gonna
yeah.
do this, I want to do it right. I want to make a really good impression. I know that I don't have a lot to speak to, so if I'm going to do this, it needs to be something that I can speak to.
Nice,
So,
nice. Well, and was that a hard decision for you? I mean, for you to say, okay, you know what, I gotta get somebody else.
um, I think at the first it felt odd. Only because House of Flies is it's basically my baby. Like I put a lot of personal frustration and emotion and anger into the script, which oddly didn't have to do with a relationship whatsoever, but that's how it kind of manifested itself. Um, and so it kind of, I felt a little bit of reluctancy letting go of that just because I felt like I was like, I know this character. I know exactly what he's feeling. I know exactly what it's supposed to look like. But then, like, the more that I thought about it, the more I was like, it would be kind of cool to see somebody else's take on it. Like yeah, I know how I want it done, but that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't do that, but also bring something even
Right.
more to it that maybe I possibly couldn't have. So like I was just kind of like, let me meet with Cayman, like let me see what this is about. And I met with him, and he had already read the script, and he not only just like got the script, but what I was trying to do with it, and what it all meant at the end of the day. And I saw his self tape that he sent after that he did of the dinner scene when Mason gets drunk and kind of spills the beans about what happened between him and Avery, and it gave all of us just full body chills. Like he played it with so much nuance. Like there was a playfulness there, but then there was that bitterness and that kind of like lingering vitriol, that comes with scorned exes and trying to, mend broken things. And I was just kind of like, I don't need to do this. Like somebody absolutely can do this better than me,
Yeah.
like this is somebody who has had the training to do it, and as much as I've had my experience, like this man is in it, like he is a professional. So I was like, that just doesn't feel, I felt like I was taking an opportunity from somebody. So I was like, I don't need it. Like this is me in the grandest sense of, like this is my art, this is my project. Like I'm here, like I am in it. So it didn't really feel like a loss for me at the end of the day.
No, no, for sure, man. And I was gonna say too, because I mean, when it comes to acting, and you know this as well. I mean, the emotions. I mean, there's been a few projects that I've been in where I've already ahead of time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking for this. Like I'm gonna go there. I've been. I mean, I'm 51 years of age, right? I've been through life. I've suffered. I've been happy. I've been. It's just
Yep.
everything. I've been through everything. So I'm like, you know what? So I get there and I just let it out, man. And they're like, damn. Like okay, like that was good. And I'm like,
Right,
well,
like
it was
powerful
real,
stuff.
man. That was real. But that's cool that he was able to nail that and get that opportunity because I mean,
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah,
seriously,
he's huge, and like like the vertical dramas are blowing up, and that's like his space. He's huge in it, and I was just like, this is big screen talent. Like I love that that's popular for you and that works for you, but you deserve to be on the big screen, sir, because you are working with something special here.
no, yeah, and you see, and I had heard about that too, the whole vertical thing, because I know there's been a few projects here locally that been they've been filming that, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I looked into it because of it. I was like, man, what the heck is that? Like,
Yeah,
but
and it's
yeah, it's getting out
it's
there.
I would say it's blowing up in Hollywood, that's for sure. Apparently, it's really the next big thing is vertical dramas. So
No, yeah, you see, and I mean, as far as projects, like, I mean, I've jumped as much as I love horror. Like, I've been on in drama films, I've been, in a comedy, I've been in everything, but I think I've only done like two horror films, and it's just like, man, I need more.
yeah,
It's just,
yeah, yeah. Me
you
always.
know,
I need more.
yeah. You see, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm watching everybody filming and working on projects, and I'm like, man, like it's just, I've got one I'm gonna jump on next weekend, I believe, but commercial I'm gonna jump on like next week
Oh
also.
hell yeah,
So I'm gonna stay busy, but it's
yeah.
just like it's like when I first jumped on this, like, man, I was filming so much, like there were so many projects that I was like, when it stopped, I was like, man, what's going on? What
Right,
happened?
right.
you know,
Uh-oh, I'm a little disoriented now.
yeah, and it was one of those things because the holidays were coming, and I was just like, man, y'all celebrate that? Come on, man, let's go film. Let's do something, man.
Right,
But
right, right.
I kind of forgot everybody else had families. My kids are grown; they're on their own. So I was just like, man, like I have to sit and wait. But yeah, it's picked up, and here in San Antonio, man, it's blown up. I mean, there's a few studios that have popped up, for
Really?
not just like filmmaking, but just people that want to create content. And so it's getting good, man. I'm
Oh
just throwing
yeah.
myself out there as much as possible. But any
And
opportunity,
that's
I'm like, I'll take it.
that's really the most important part too. I feel like so many people are anxious or hesitant or nervous just to put themselves out there, and that's like, if you're not, that's the one thing that is holding
Yeah.
you back.
All right.
Like that is literally the one thing that is holding you back. Because as soon as you start initiating these conversations and putting
Yeah.
yourself in these spaces and just, saying hey to anybody in this same industry, in the same community that we're in, like it literally just, it grows, like it has tendrils and it just expands along the
Yeah.
way because everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody,
Exactly.
and everybody, like that's kind of how everything with House of Flies has come to be. Like it's all just been a man of like everybody knew somebody that they could bring onto the project that could bring this to life, and everybody just wanted to see it succeed. And networking is the biggest thing that you need to do in order to succeed in this industry. And if you're not comfortable at even just saying hello to somebody, then that's your biggest setback right there.
No, that's true. I mean, because I'm real shy when it comes to being out in public. I've been out in public. I mean, having covered media, like I cover combat sports. I've been K side for like the UFC and Bellator and like a lot of these big promotions. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things I would always tell people. I said, man, I always felt like I was shielded because I was always behind the camera. I'm always taking pictures. So I
Yep.
felt like nobody could see me. But when people would be like, "Hey, Spider, what's up?" I'd freak out, like, "Oh crap," like, what's going on?
Right.
But yeah, it's just like you said. I mean, a lot of these mixers, a lot of these film festivals, that's where you go and meet people.
Yep.
Like a lot
And
of locals have always asked me, like, "Hey, how do I get into film?" And I'm like, "Man, I just start showing up."
literally,
Meet
like
people.
even if you don't have a project in the festival or whatever kind of function that you're showing up to, just show up, talk to these
Oh yeah.
people, talk to the filmmakers that are there. They're definitely happy to talk to everybody. Like that's we
Who
all
doesn't? Who
want we
doesn't
all
have
want
one
to
talking
network
about the
here.
film, right?
Right, exactly. We all want to network here. We all have our goals in mind, and I think we can all help each other achieve them a lot easier than we think. And I feel like the only reason that a lot more doesn't get done is just because people are so hesitant to connect with each other.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I know him personally, like in San Antonio, like it's always been big. When I started my podcast, like, I mean, I noticed a lot of doors open, not just for myself, but like just
Yeah.
people in general, like directors working with other people, and then it's a great thing because it's like, dude, I mean, people even here, they ask like, man, what, Austin's like the go-to when it comes to like the film industry. but San Antonio's right there, and it's like it's always been big, but like not everybody's always been open to help out or just kind of like, hey, you know what, you need this or whatever the case. But I mean, the networking has started, and I'm glad.
Yeah,
It puts everybody to
absolutely.
work.
Absolutely. There has to be no ego in it. Like as much as, we're all creating our art and putting our art out there, it has to be a collaborative journey in order for it to be successful, in my
Oh
personal
yeah, because
opinion.
it's just like with the. I've been told more than once, like if you don't talk about it, then how people are supposed to know?
Right. Yep.
And it kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
It's like if I'm here and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna do this. It's a great book. It's this. I've written a thousand pages, and it's like, okay, well, where can I read it? Oh, it's not out.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of like,
Right.
well, kind
Oh,
of,
I'm not showing anybody right now. I'm
yeah.
not really. Yeah.
I don't need the criticism. I'm good.
Right. No, I'm good. I think it's great. That's all that matters to me. So I'm just gonna keep it to myself.
Yeah. But let me ask you though, when it comes to the name of the film, I mean, where did that come from?
um I don't want Chino to sue me. But it was partially Deftones inspired. And then part of it is kind of like a play on words. Obviously there's no real flies anything. But it was House of Flies. There's a way it ties into the story in a real way that I'm trying not to give away
Right, right.
anything, but decomposition type stuff. But then it was also kind of like a play on words, like House of Flies also sounds like House of Lies, and everybody in there is kind of lying to each other to some degree.
Right.
So it was very much a play on words. I really loved how it sounded, um, like a vintage
Yeah.
70s, 80s cabin in the woods horror, which is kind of what it's all a love letter to. So yeah, that was it's I get that question a lot because in the grand scheme of things, there's really no flies or anything involved, but in a more metaphorical sense, there
Right.
is meaning behind it.
No, no, definitely. I mean, like I said, I did read the script. I mean, the characters, like man, I mean, it was great. I was at work all day, like walking around, and I was thinking, like, man, I kept picturing these scenes in my head, and I'm thinking, like, man, that's pretty cool, man. Like, it's happened before. Like when I used to read books a lot. I
Yeah.
used to run the Greyhound. I used to take the Greyhound everywhere. Go to Florida. We've been here and there, but I used to buy books and I would read them on the road because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
there's nothing. Before cell phones, right? I mean, that's what we did.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yep.
but it's like
Remember those days?
yeah, and it's like it's one of those things where like I would talk to people and I'm like, hey man, you remember that movie? And I start talking to them and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, that movie, man, like. And I'm like, oh crap, that was a book. Like, but in my head, it played
Right,
so well that I
right.
was
It
just
was so
like,
vivid.
yeah, yeah. But you see, it gave me that vibe. So you
Thank
definitely
you.
did a phenomenal job, man. I mean,
I
everybody
appreciate it.
involved. No, you're welcome, man. It's one of those projects like you mentioned earlier. It's gonna put people out there. Once people see the film and actually able to. I mean, of course, they're not going to read the script, but I mean, they're going to watch the film in
Right,
general. It's just going to make sense. So,
right. Well,
I'm looking
thank you. I
forward to it, man.
appreciate
And
it.
now, when can we see this?
So probably by summer of next year. We're taking our time with it. We're not trying to rush it out too quickly. I want to make sure everything is perfect. It needs to look perfect. It needs to sound perfect. That's a very big, very, very big part of bringing the story to life. So when it comes to post, we're gonna take our time and polish it up. I would love to have it out as like a spooky time movie, but at the same time, I don't want it to get lost and diluted. So I'm thinking probably a good summer scare to line up with the season
And I
in
was
the
gonna
summer.
say because of the scene, the way it played, it would make sense to put it during summer because everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, let's watch this." Oh,
Right. Yeah.
House of
Yeah.
Flies,
And
oh,
like,
that's pretty cool.
yeah, exactly. It's one of those like you think of Friday the 13th or something like that. You want to watch it during the summer because it's
Yeah,
summer camp and that kind of
exactly.
thing. So yeah, for sure.
Nice, man. No, of course. I mean, you guys have been taking it to festivals, correct?
Yes, yeah, we've been taking the script to festivals right now. We haven't been taking the film, but we've been well, insanely enough, House of Flies won Best Horror at New York International against fully produced films. So it was kind of just like holy shit, you know, like, oh, we need to go ahead
And
and get this done.
I was
Like,
gonna say, no wonder you want it to be perfect, right? You're like,
right,
oh,
exactly,
like sky's the
exactly.
limit,
I'm like, I
man.
can't. If it's doing this well in its screenplay form, it has to live up to the hype once we actually bring it to the screen. So,
No, sweet, man. Now let me ask you, when it comes to promotions, because like you mentioned earlier, it's a play on words, metaphorically. I mean, House of Flies is not. So how are you going to be promoting this film? I mean, is there any? I know a lot of people use props. They use, whatever they can to get it out there. So we're going to be like, we're going to be able to purchase like shirts, buttons.
oh yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to. We're actually getting ready to. I have a wonderful artist that is hand painting a House of Flies poster,
Oh,
and we're going to reproduce it digitally for prints. And then we're also going to auction off the original 16 by 24 canvas that it was painted on. And we're also
man.
it's also going to be signed by the cast and everything. But that will go live on our website, which is also going to launch alongside our shop, which we will have. Shirts, buttons, stickers, that kind of thing. We're gonna do some fun little immersive tidbits of like Airbnb ads or Stay B&B ads of the host couple and that kind of stuff. We have a lot of fun ideas up our sleeves here, that we're gonna start unrolling here soon.
No, for sure. And I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but in the bottom, I mean, I did scroll the website, so HOF movie.com for those
I
that are
love
watching.
it.
You can definitely follow up and keep up to date, man. Because like I said, I mean, this is not just because I invited you on here, but I mean, I did enjoy the script.
I
I'm looking forward
appreciate
to this
that.
project. The fact that I want to say you nailed it with the cast. I mean, everybody. I'm looking forward to what they bring. And that's one of those things like you mentioned earlier, because the character that you kind of like said, hey, I'm gonna let somebody else take this. I like it because it's like you said, you don't know what they're gonna bring. I mean, there's something
Yeah.
in your head. You're thinking, oh, okay, well, this guy's got to be funny, this, and this, but they might throw something in the mix that you're like, oh, damn, I didn't see that. But
Right. Yeah. I never saw it like that before, but now it's all I see. So
now you gotta play that character. You're like,
right, exactly. Now it's yours, okay?
man. But bro, I mean, you told me you're in Knoxville, correct?
Nashville.
Nashville.
Just a
So
couple.
how is the scene out there when it comes to the film?
It's actually booming. It's been getting really big out here. They're doing a lot of productions. I think they're filming 911 out here. They have like a whole 911 Nashville series that they're doing now. So they got Ryan Murphy out here. They have a studio that just opened up 2 hours north in Louisville. That's really big.
Nice.
So they're really trying to expand the industry out in this little southern region here, in a big way, which I'm excited about. Like I love that it doesn't have to be Hollywood. It doesn't have to be
Right.
Los Angeles. You don't have to go to NYC. You don't have to, we're gonna have studios all over this freaking country for varying sizes of filmmakers to bring their art to life. And I think that's long overdue.
Well, I mean, I agree, because I mean, with the whole, everybody moving out of California, have the state landed here in San Antonio, man. So,
Yep,
but it's one of those things where it did bring a lot more opportunities out here.
absolutely.
You get that, don't California, my Texas, but it's like, man, I mean, they like directors, athletes, like all sorts, of course, from trade, work to everybody moved out here, but I feel like it kind of boosted the film industry a lot more because they're
I
here.
agree.
Like, you know what? Like, but yeah, I see it as in a good way. I mean, I filmed for an episode of Ken in Austin like 2 months ago.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, man, like I want to try it, and I always tell people because they're like, oh, dude, that's cool. You get to film and you do this, and I'm like, bro, like, you gotta be there. I said, but it's not all like what you're thinking, because
Right,
at
right,
the time
right.
they're waiting, and it's a waiting game. But it's like, well, I'm there, I'm networking, man. I'm making friends with everybody. I'm like,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
what
When
do
I
you
was
do? Boom.
when I was doing extra work, you're sitting there and holding. That's all you're doing is networking. Like,
Yeah. Oh
that's all
yeah,
you're doing is talking to everybody. Who's their agent? Are they taking classes? Like, it's just,
exactly. You see, and I
that's
was
the
like, I made friends.
game.
I made friends with the person doing makeup, with the wardrobe. I was
Yep.
like, hey, let me follow. What are you on, man? Let me follow you.
Right,
It's like,
right. What other productions are you working on right now?
yeah, you see, and that was actually the one for Ken. I actually picked up a gig because of the wardrobe lady. She was like, "Oh,
Oh
you
yeah.
bilingual?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, well, I'm working with this other set that they're looking for bilingual people." here's the email. And I was like, dude, like, sweet. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, if I
Yep.
wouldn't have been talking, she wouldn't have thrown that at me. But I was like, yeah, I'm all about opportunity, man.
Exactly. Yep. See, I say that I run my mouth too much, but sometimes running your mouth gets you to the right places. So.
I agree. I mean, earlier I told you. I mean, I'm real quiet when it comes to what I do. I mean, when I love being home. I'm a homebody, but
Same.
when I'm out there, like, yeah, I know I gotta talk to people. I gotta, introduce myself. I mean, it still feels odd, I guess, in a way, like when I tell people, oh, I'm an actor, because they're kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I mean, there's levels to everything, right? But I'm
Oh,
just like,
absolutely.
I jump on projects. I'm on this. I'm on that. But but it's one of those things, like, people, like, it kind of, people see you a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's just like, I mean, where I work at, like, everybody's like 100%. My boss loves what I do, and they're like, man, like, you need a day off, just let me know. And I'm like, all
Yep.
right, cool, man. Like, I'll take it, and it does help, because I always tell people, when it comes to movies and these commercials, always filming during the week, man. Nobody films on the
Hmm.
weekend, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So
It's never convenient.
yeah, they do it after 5, around 5:30. I gotta go.
Right. Then they're definitely not working around your schedule.
Oh
So.
yeah. But it's just, it's one of those things, and I'm like, well, it's, I mean, I'm fortunate, so I definitely got to give my job props, because they definitely support me, and allow me to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm very grateful to have the job that I have because they're all very much like, this is freaking awesome. Like we want to see all of this all the time. So there's definitely, I feel like when you tell people that you're a creative actively in some degree, there's almost like a level of respect behind it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like, and that's, it's just so nice to, and that's another form of community that's like not necessarily inside the industry, but it's still something that's just as important in order to achieve your goals, because it feels like if there's outside forces pressing back against you, like it can get things real muddied real quick. So it's always nice to have, like, even in your corporate or whatever day to day life, that kind of support behind you.
No, no, definitely. I did pitch an idea, because we have, like, every year we have, like, a builder, like, employee builder thing, where we go out and we, as a team, we do projects and do this.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was like 2 months ago, after I had filmed somewhere, and I had told the CEO, because he's local, right? And I told him, and I was like, hey, there's this 24-hour, like, film festival, or 48-hour. I said, what if for our next, like, builder program that we have, we split up into groups. We all write different storylines, and then we just go and film, and just film it for the day, and just have it, and, like, everybody went crazy, man. They're like, what? Like, yeah, let's do that, and I mean, we have, like, in-house, we have a podcast, we have people that do video and edit and all that. So, I mean, they were like, yeah, let's do it, and so
Yeah.
after that, like, everybody was like, man, when are we gonna do this? And I'm like, tell the boss, man, like, let's get it going, because
That's
I
a
mean,
dope team building activity idea.
oh
Like
yeah,
that.
like,
Now I'm
have
sitting here
fun.
like, let's see if I can find something like that
Yeah,
around
dude, right? I mean,
Chicago,
like,
where my job's located at. So when I go in for that stuff.
you see, well, this is gonna be the twist. I haven't told anybody this, and I don't think anybody at work follows me, so I'm good. But when it comes to, I'm gonna have everybody pick a director, and everybody's
Okay.
the writer. They're gonna be okay. You know what? They're gonna have the same people, right? 4 or 5
Right.
people. Um, Once everything's written, then we're gonna put the scripts, and then we're gonna swap scripts. So the same people
Okay.
are gonna they're gonna be like, okay, what happened? So we're gonna swap it, and then people are just gonna have to, like, literally, like, new storyline, new everything, and then we're gonna go
Hell
film it.
yeah.
So that way,
Hell
people,
yeah.
yeah, throw a little wrench in there, man, because it
Yep.
kind of, I liked it, because just like with indie films, like, you never know, like, it might rain, or somebody might
I
not
was about
show
to
up.
say curveballs are the art of the industry.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you have to be ready for them. So
yes.
that's on brand right there.
No, no, yeah. You see, so I'm curious, so hopefully, in October, I'll keep
Yeah.
everybody posted, but hopefully we
Oh
get to do
yeah.
that, and have fun with it, man, because
Yeah, man. That would be cool to see. I would
and we
be
get paid for it. I'm like, dude, even better, bro.
right. Right. That's a two for one right there.
Oh yeah, yes. But yeah, but let me ask you. I mean, as far as employment, man, what do you do for work? You don't have to tell me where you work, but I mean, as far
No,
as
you're
like,
good. I am in the boring corporate world of insurance.
oh,
Outside of my filmmaker lifestyle, I do a lot of marketing for companies. Basically, just show them what kind of insurance they can offer their employees and how much it's going to cost them. It's so boring, but it's like the most laid back work lifestyle that it's perfect for me as a filmmaker. So I have like all the freedom. Nobody's ever looking for me, so I can just kind of do what I need to do at my full-time job and then do what else I need to do,
bro,
everywhere else. So
I like that, man. You see, because I'm a building general maintenance, and
okay.
basically, I'm a janitor with a title, but I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot, man, when it comes to fixtures, reprogramming, getting invoice for work orders.
Okay, cool.
We have a building manager, and he does like all the money counts and all that. But I'm the
Right.
one pushing and making things happen. But I like it too because I mean not I stay busy and I do a lot, man. I do work a lot, but it
Yeah.
still gives me a little leeway to kind of like step aside and take a little breather or go to my office and just kind of like throw on a trailer,
Yeah,
you know,
right, exactly.
chill out and be like, "Oh,
Just
okay, let
shut
me."
off for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Like
but I mean, I enjoy it, man. I mean, I love it. I love it there. The fact that they're behind me 100%. I'm like, dude, like I have no reason to leave, right? I'm like,
Yep,
that's perfect. But
exactly. That's
it
exactly
definitely
what I want.
allows us both, because even like you said, it allows us to kind of like, okay, let's plan out for the week, for the weekend, man. Let's get something going.
Right, exactly. Let's create a little bit.
Oh
And it,
yeah,
it took so long for me to get to this point too. So it kind of feels like I'm getting all this creative expression that I've repressed for years and it's all just like coming out so fast back to back to back. So
yeah,
but it
yeah.
feels great. It's great. So if you're repressing your creativity, stop it.
Yeah.
Because it's
No, no, for
not
sure. And let me ask you this. I mean, have you been writing for a while?
Yeah, I've been writing since I was a child. I
Okay.
actually, when I was in high school, I was heavy into screenplays and I was doing a lot of originals, but then I was also doing a lot of like adaptations of novels that I had read that I was
Oh
like, oh,
man.
I would love to see this as a movie. And there was one day my laptop crashed and I lost everything that I was ever working on and I quit. I quit until I wrote House of Flies. I woke up one night from like a nightmare and I was just like, I need to write this down. And then I sat for 2 hours and had the entire story outlined. And it was the first time that I had written anything legitimately since probably I was 17, 18 years old. And I'm
Dang.
31 now. So it was insane. Yeah, I've been writing for a while, but I got bitter and I held a grudge against technology for taking all my hard work from me, and I didn't do it for a while, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing it for my whole life, really.
Yeah, that's cool though, because I mean, I used to write a lot also, like in middle school and high school. I mean, of course, I'm a lot older, so for me, I was actually writing on book like on spiral books and just wherever I
Yeah.
could find space. But the same thing, it was an outlet. I wasn't a writer, so of course nothing was formatted, nothing. I would just write
Right.
whatever was going on in my life or whatever I was feeling. And
Absolutely.
my reading teacher, Miss Adams, and I still remember her name. Like she was real supportive when it came to that because she would always like as soon as we walk in her classroom, she'd be like, "Okay, everybody, write what happened. What's going on? What are you thinking?" And I would always just literally be blunt about it. And like, dude, I used to make her cry, bro. Like everybody was always like, "Dude, why are you making her cry?" And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like I'm just in touch with my emotions, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
she read them how she read them, but it's I stopped. I had a zine in the '90s where I used to interview musicians, bands, and stuff, and I
Oh,
used to
cool.
type. I used to have a typewriter, so I used to type
Sweet.
everything, and
Love it.
yeah, but it was just like one of those things that it's just when it stopped, I kind of stopped,
Yeah, it
and I
just kind of
regret it.
ended.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like I used to skateboard. I still skateboard, by the way, but I used to skateboard a lot in
Hell
high
yeah.
school, and then I stopped. And like I remember one of my buddies was like, "Hey man, why'd you stop skateboarding?" And I'm like, "Dude, well, I bought a car." I'm
Yeah.
driving now, man. Like I was
I don't need
skateboarding, so that
to.
was nice. But I picked it up again, and it's just like one of my little therapy. I go
Yeah,
a little therapy run. But my
absolutely.
man, dude, I mean, this is and I didn't even post the image, of course. I don't know this is the poster, of course not, right? This is not. You said it's gonna be like a painting.
Yeah, we have a painting. That's our official logo, kind of our official branding.
No, no, but yeah, I just want everybody to see that. So, of course, I mean, when it comes to those that are watching, they can follow you guys on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Where can they find you guys at?
Facebook, you can just search up House of Flies and we'll be right there. Instagram is HOF_movie and you'll find us. You could probably just search House of Flies and still find us there. TikTok is the same handle. We're still kind of growing on there and getting our jump start on there, but that's a whole different ballpark. But yeah, we're active on socials. We're having a lot of fun. We got cast and crew content coming out daily. We've got some sneak peeks of the score out there. So yeah, we're excited to share for sure.
No, no, definitely. And I was gonna say too, because I kind of shared that image because that's on Facebook. I When I typed it in the first time, there was like 3 pages that popped up with that name, but that
Yeah.
image is on y'all's page. So for those that are
Yep.
watching, they can definitely look for that.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you, TikTok, same thing. I'm on there. I usually throw a movie trailer reviews on that one. And I don't know. I think this is. I mean, I'm older than you, but there used to be an industrial music back in the MTV days called 100. What was it called? 120 seconds, 120
Okay.
minutes. What's the name of the
Okay.
show? It was like 2 hours worth of like industrial music, right? At midnight till 2 in the
Oh yeah.
morning. Well, the play on words, like you mentioned with your movie, your film. The same thing with my movie trailers. It's a 120-second movie trailer review. So all my reviews are under
Okay.
2 minutes. And so
That's
that's a
smart.
little tidbit. It's just my little contribution to growing up in the '90s, right?
Hell
But,
yeah.
but yeah, man. But let me ask you, music wise, what can people find on the score? Like who's involved in the music?
So we have Gory Rory doing our score. We actually we met through one of the film festivals that I won. He just kind of came up to me after everything was announced and sought me out and was like, "Hey, if you need a composer, I've got some work that you can listen to. I've done a bunch of work." And we had wonderful conversations just in terms of my inspirations behind what I wanted everything to sound like and what I was listening to while I was writing the film. And he loved everything and he gave me back a theme for the film and it just blew my mind and it's actually up on our socials right now. But he's an incredible composer and the man just churns out music like it's nothing and like it's just so easy, second nature to him. So we have a lot of really really great compositions coming from Gory Rory. We are putting together a compilation soundtrack, kind of like a companion soundtrack for the film, compromised of a bunch of like local indie queer artists, all kind of surrounding the themes of the film. We can't really announce anybody that's working on that yet. Leah Colin is the only one that I can really mention that is going to give a contribution. But no, we have a lot of fun things coming out sonically related to the film as well.
Sweet, man. No, yeah, you see, and that's one of the things when it comes to music. I mean, I mentioned, I grew up in the '80s. We didn't have cable growing up, so we used to watch a lot of reruns. So in black and white, we used to watch, Twilight Zone and a lot of
Yeah.
movies that, I'm kind of grateful we didn't have cable because I would have missed out on a lot of cool, originals or classics.
Oh
But
yeah.
when it comes to music, I always incorporate like punk rock music or metal, of course. '80s, you know,
Yep.
horror, everything, man. But every time I watch a movie, I listen to the music, man. So that's me.
Yeah, see, same. I'm a huge music person. That's where my love for art started, was all with music, and I'm kind of the same way. Like I love a good grungy alternative,
Oh yeah.
heavy sound to especially horror movies like Marco Beltrami's score for Scream. Like I love all of the
Yes.
heavy guitars incorporated into those. Like
Oh,
yeah, I love a good heavy sounding score.
no, I agree, man. I mean, it definitely adds to the film, So the fact that
Yeah.
networking, of course, you were able to find a composer, so that worked out well.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. Networking, networking, networking.
Yeah, man. Well, bro, dude, I'm not. I hate cutting this short. I mean, it's been about an hour, so I definitely appreciate your time, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
man.
looking forward to bringing you back, man. I would love to bring you back with a few actors.
Yeah,
If it's
absolutely. Yeah,
possible,
we
you
could
know.
definitely we could come back with the cast. That would be
Yes,
awesome.
yes,
Definitely. We would have a great time.
and maybe even get the composer on here, man. I'd love to talk
Hell
to him.
yeah. Hell yeah. Let's just get the whole gang on here, Spider.
Yeah,
What are you
bro.
talking about?
I can get up to like 10 people on here, man. So we can make this like the Brady Bunch and just put everybody up in here.
Hey, well then we'll
Oh,
just have to do it then. We'll have to work it out.
for sure, brother. Well, man, I do appreciate your time.
Yeah,
I
thank
wish you
you
the best.
so
I'm
much.
gonna keep following you guys and supporting and helping you guys grow as much as I can.
Likewise.
But don't hang up yet, brother. Everybody out there, of course. Once again, this is Spider Coming Soon podcast. As always, till next time.